Okay. I think I'm live. Okay, guys, I'm having so many technical errors. Okay. Yeah, so I just went live. So crazy. All right. So I'll let people hop on. Okay. People are hopping on. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm having so many technical issues, but hopefully things are good to go now. I'm not even gonna hold on for the group. Okay. So are you guys there? Okay. I had to go live on the group now. Oh my gosh. It's been crazy. I've tried to figure it out. All right. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about today the craziness that goes on in IEP meetings, and it makes me mad. And when I say mad, I mean, mad as in, I know guys over on the group, I don't know what the hell's happening. I'm sorry. So I was just talking to the group because I'm going to be doing live on Zoom Q&As. All right. Don't look at the back of my house. Don't. Okay. Because I'll tell you why. All right. Let me tell you why. Because I am organizing for you guys. All right. So I'm getting all my stuff together. Look. In binders. All right. Because you know how I told you that I am old school. So I print everything. All right. So I have, you saw my science of reading stuff. So I have one for reading, one for behavior, one for all of the different state stuff, like the procedural safeguards and all the different intricacies there. And so I'm getting really organized. It's been one of those days, along with 2 meetings with directors and all that fun stuff, So here's the deal. Today we're going to talk about the craziness. We're going to talk about things that just happened. And we're going to talk about, all the crazy things that can happen. And maybe, just maybe, you guys might, pipe in, and say, hey, Raven, let me tell you about this one time at band camp. And say, this is what happened in my IEP meeting. It was crazy. And this is what happened. So yeah, that'd be fun. All right. Hi, how are you? All right. So we got Hannah and we got Cynthia. Yeah, this is the page. That is the group. So I'm on the group too. So flip back and forth. All right. Because I don't know what's going on. It went bad on the page, then it went bad in the group. Yeah. I don't care. Technology sucks sometimes. All right. So here's the deal. All right. So here's the deal. So I was in an IEP meeting today, and I even had to ask the mom, I was like, what is it called? Like a deer with its headlights or whatever, because I'm really bad with analogies. I know them, but I don't know them. Not my thing. But I love to say them, and I always say them wrong. So anyway, she was like, yeah. And I said, honestly, it was crazy. All right. So we were going through the IEP. We were finishing up the 6th IEP meeting. It was crazy. But we got it together right, So sometimes it is what it is. And you do what you got to do to make sure it is right. And the school district, they got to transportation. And what blew my mind, okay, this is California. California, you got to love California. So what happened was we literally, it was a predetermination, and I just didn't say anything because I was getting to other things. But they had said, okay, well, for transportation, that's a no because you live within the district. Let me say that again, okay? Let me just say that again. I got to say that again. Transportation is a no. No. Why? Because you live within the district. Say what? I don't get it. Every other child who lives within their district can ride a bus. Why is it this child can't ride a bus? And a special needs bus that takes him door to door? Because that is a provision of faith. So the fact that the school district already said that All right. Yeah, that's what they said. Because the child lives within the district, they can't get a bus. Oh, they are getting a bus, but so I said what? And they said okay, well, it's a violation of FAPE. Okay, so there's no such thing as if your child lives within the district, they can't ride a bus. I mean, that's just a bunch of horse shit. All right, I'll just repeat what my grandmother used to say: horse shit and applesauce. Okay, so that is not true. Okay. So I said, that's not true. And the attorney's there. So, the attorney and I can go at it, but she has been real. This is that attorney that I was telling you guys about that was pretty good. And she and I can go at it. Yes. But she does pipe in when it comes to the law. And I like that about her. I like that she stands up to the team to inform them and teach them. But the best part about it is she does it in the IEP meeting on recording. And I know the reason she's doing it on recording is because she knows I know their violations. And she wants on recording that she corrected them. Because an attorney in an IEP meeting not advising their client of the law and allowing them to disregard the law, I want to say, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it is a violation of where the license comes from with, what is it, the board, that if you don't inform your client of the law. Well, when they said that this child couldn't get transportation because they live within the district, that's the reason. Yep. Because they live within the district. I mean, what the heck? And so I said, no. The child needs transportation. All right. There's no such thing as, because they live within the district. That would make the most sense because most of the time, if the child lives outside the district, all right, not special needs, but in general, then they don't get transportation. But a child with special needs, if they need to go to a school that is within their district or outside their district, then it doesn't matter. All right? It doesn't matter. They get provided transportation no matter what based on their need. Okay? And need meaning a regular bus versus a sped bus. But that's it. They still get the bus. All right? There's no such thing as, oh, you live outside of the district, so we're not busing you. Okay? That stuff makes me crazy. It really does. Then the school got to ESY. This was good. They got to ESY, and, I piped in and said, we don't really need to talk about ESY right now. We need to put to be determined, all right, TBD, and we need to say, we will address this situation, ESY, on or before April 15th. I always use tax day. And so it's one of those things. And looking to join the group. All right. So here's the deal. Don't believe school systems when they say those things. All right. You guys got to know. All right. Please listen sometimes when I talk because this is the crap. I mean, they even spilled that with the attorney right there. Doesn't it go to show you the little minute things that they know? They really don't. I'm having to copy and paste the law to them, their own law and idea. Why am I having to do that? Why do I have to literally go onto your state website, procedural safeguards, then there's other things. There's like parent handbooks, all that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, copy, paste. I mean, shit that they can do. Come on. Copy, paste, copy, paste. And then I go to idea, copy, paste, copy, paste. And then all of a sudden they listen. I don't get it. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't. And I shouldn't have to remind them that they have to adhere to the law. So anyway, when we got to ESY, I said, you can put to be determined because normally ESY isn't talked about in the beginning of the year. But, it needs to be talked about at each IEP, but a decision doesn't have to be made until, come spring. Well, they want to talk about it. Okay, cool. So the service providers, they're really cool. I love the speech therapist. OT came around. She's super cool too. And so they said, oh, we just want the child to have what they're having during the school year. All right. But okay, let me take a step back. So here's how it started. It started with the girl, she's like the program coordinator. And she said, well, what we offer is 4 weeks, and it's from this time to this time. I said, well, you can't do that. Well, that's all the child needs. How do you know? We're just starting the year. Child hasn't even started school yet. And the child's 4 years, 5 years behind. What do you mean? So then the attorney piped in and said, well, we can go ahead and talk about ESY if everybody wants to talk about it, because you can at each IEP meeting. So then the service provider said, they wanted to mirror what they had during the school year, which was perfect. And then we got to the teacher, and the teacher said, well, what did she say? Oh, she said, I'm not really sure what we should put out there, because we caught her off guard. She wasn't prepared to talk about it. And I agree that we should talk about it at the end of the year, blah, 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 blah. And then she was asked, well, do you think the 4 weeks is sufficient? And she hesitated. She wasn't sure. And then she said, yeah, I think that would be a sufficient amount of time. And so then I called her out on it, and I said, we obviously caught you off guard. I mean, that was a no-brainer by your reaction. And I said, that's fine, because I get it, because I wouldn't be prepared either. We're just starting the school year, and we're trying to make these decisions about ESY. Kind of crazy. And but I was going with it because they gave the child what she needed. So I was like, okay, put it in there. And so it holds them accountable. Shoot, I'm not going to back off when they're going to give her what she needs. Shoot, go for it. Put it in there for next year. And she said, yeah, I think that would be a sufficient amount of time. And I said, how do you know that? We don't even know where the child's going to be next year, at the end of next year. We have no idea, so I questioned that. And she finally thought about it. And I did tell her, I said, look, I get it. It's the beginning of the year. I get that, you weren't prepared for this. It's okay. And I would just let her know, because it did catch her off guard. And, she's a nice teacher. And I just wanted her to know that. But, the whole thing caught her off guard. And then, she was asked if the 4 weeks was sufficient. She said, she hesitated. You could tell, it was almost like she was being coaxed. Rocco, stop. That she was almost being coaxed to say that, and it was unfortunate. So I told her, I said, we don't have to decide the academic part until the end of the year. No, sir. No, sir. Of course, when I go live, he gets all crying. So that's important to remember. Skylar, Sky, come let Rocco out. So that is a bit, maybe they were texted by each other. Yeah, they do. But here's the thing is you need to watch that. All right. And this is part of the craziness. Watch. That's why I say watch what they're doing. They won't do it in your face, but online they will. Watch them. Watch if you see them going like this. Watch if you see that they turn their head. Watch their body language. Watch their facial expressions. Be mindful of that. Call them out because of it. Shut that door, Sky. Don't you dare open it. Don't you dare. Of course she opened it. Skylar, I'm going to take your phone. You hear her calling him? No, you open the door, and I said not to open the door. So, okay. So, anyway, I felt bad for her. Yes, let the dogs in. Okay. Here. I'm sorry. So it's a bit frustrating, you know, when they do things and don't know any better. Then the special education program coordinator says, well, you know, I think that would be sufficient for her. And she's going on and on about how it's sufficient and how it's fine and how, you know, the 4 weeks is going to be great. And that's all the child needs, again, 4 or 5 years behind. And everything's a go, you know. No, it's not a go. Okay, this is the same person who thought that transportation could not be provided because the child lives in the school district. Really? Um, so I said to her, I said, when's the last, have you ever worked with the child? She said, yes. I have worked with her. And I said, do you work with her now? No. And I said, when's the last time you worked with her? Preschool. We're talking about a 14-year-old here. 14. I worked with her in preschool. I said, okay, so explain to me how you get to have an opinion, because you have not known the child at all since 12 years ago. She didn't say anything. So then she says, she finally talks and says, well, I think we need to just address it at the end of the year. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, I texted the mom. I was like, isn't that what I said at the very beginning? You know? But then I said, I'm going to hold them accountable in my head. So I said, you know what? But since the service providers already said that she's going to get everything that's in her IEP now, make sure you put that proposed into the PWN. And then one of the other team members says, well, can you explain that to me? You know, they didn't like the fact that I said to put it in the PWN. And she goes, can you explain that to me? Why would we put it in the PWN? I said, well, do you know what a PWN is? And she said, yes. And I said, well, then what that is when you propose something, which you guys proposed ESY, all right, that's different than, you know, the school services that they offer during the school year. And I said, and all the service providers here in the meeting proposed what the child's going to get. So you're going to put that in the IEP, and you're going to put that in the PWN, because I want to make sure that they're going to stick with that till next year. And then that's when the lady had piped up, and she was like the assistive technology person. I was like, what does she care? You know, she's not even going to be part of that. And but anyway, she wanted to know why a PWN was going to have to go into play. But, you know, I kindly explained that to her. And then it was just, it makes me crazy when the school district does not know their stuff. All right. This team just was not, they were corrected a lot of times in the IEP by their own attorney. Okay. The other thing, you know, we talked about this the other day. Please don't believe attorneys when they try to preach things at you in IEP meetings. All right. And what I mean by that is if they're nice, then that's fine. All right. I can share what a PWN is, but we'll do another live on that because that's its own kind of entity. But it's a proposed or refused, etc. And I have a checklist on it too. So, but yes, I will address that. Just not today. So, like I said, they preach at you. They want to, you know, when they start to get loud and a little bit aggressive, know that they're full of shit. Just know right then. There's the body language that should ring that bell, turn that light on, and you know that they're full of shit. All right? Because what that means is they're getting hot and heavy because you actually know something that they don't like, and you're arguing something that they don't like, and that you're getting somewhere, and they don't like that. Okay? So, but that's what the craziest thing was about this one attorney is that even though she and I have gone at it a couple times, actually we've only gone at it at like she'll talk and I'll kind of interrupt, but then she'll talk and I'll talk and she'll interrupt. So it's like, what the heck? But she corrects them right there in the meeting. And I like that, you know, because they do need to learn. Someone's got to teach them, you know. If your IEP team does not know the laws and the intricacies of the IEP and what they are required to provide is unacceptable. All right. So unless I hope I'm saying your name right. Do me a favor, message me on WhatsApp. I'll post the link to WhatsApp unless Erin's on here and she can post it. And message me to remind me to do a live on the PWN. I have one though in my videos, so you can go watch that. So if you go to videos on the page, and then you'll just scroll and it'll say PWN. Okay? But I can also do another live on that. Okay? So know the body language. If somebody is getting worked up, other than me, no. Even if I get worked up, you know that I'm pissed off. All right, you know that I'm ready for the attack. All right, but if the same thing with them, y'all, the same thing. All right, so like with the, I'm like leaning my head on my knee. God, I'm so professional. No, it's been one of those days, guys. I'm just casual me, okay? I wear my, yoga pants, yoga shirts, my yoga, jackets, and I'm a comfortable person, okay? I throw on a shirt with my shorty shorts when I'm in an IEP meeting. I did not just tell you guys that. Okay, so that's important to remember. Know your body language. Know the body language, all right? If things are getting heated, it means they know you know your stuff and they're getting flustered. All right? I'll tell you what I love to do. Okay, call me crazy, call me mean, call me evil. My dad used to call me evil. You are so evil. Is Rocco, come here. He's eating our food. Hang on. Rocco, no, sir. Go to your bed. Go. He just ate the pot pie. I don't even want to get up to know how much he ate. I really don't. Hold on one second. Go to your bed. Get in there. I cannot believe you. Yep, he ate it, y'all. Not all of it, but most of it. You're going to stay there now. Dogs. All right. Let's finish. Okay. So, yep, my dog ate my dinner. Okay. So, just know that when you get worked up, that means something's going on, especially on their part. My dad would call me evil because I would pick on my brother and all kinds of stuff. But here's the thing, is it's not that I'm evil, but think about this, all right? I took a class once on, speaking and that sort of thing, and body language and all that stuff in college. And one of the things I learned is to watch that body language. And this is something you guys should know, believe it or not. It's impacted a lot of things I do in the IEP. Is watch that body language. The more thrown off, think about it with you. Just put yourself in the situation. The more thrown off they are, the more you get them worked up. And if they're listening, they're going to know it's true, because they know they're wrong. And so the more worked up you get them, and the more you push, don't back down from that, the more you're going to get out of them. All right? When you get someone all stirred up and pissed off, what do? Talk. Get them, catch them off guard. Just like this one teacher, unfortunately, she was a nice lady, but she was caught off guard. And what happened? Things came out. All right? It was clear that she was unsure. She didn't know. All right? And she was just trying to side with the school because she thought that's what she was supposed to do. And you could tell, and I called her out on it. But at the same time, I felt bad for her because she is actually a nice lady. And she took all my goals. So I like her. And so don't back down from that. All right? Call it evil. I will own it. But whatever it is I have to do, I will do it in that meeting. I need information. I want to know why you did what you did. I want to know, what are you going to do about it, because you're going to fix it. You're going to do this, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. You know, and if it means that we go at it, then we go at it. Don't back down from that. You know, you cannot think about when you get nervous, right? You back off. You get scared in the IEP meeting. You don't want to address situations and all the craziness that happens and the BS that just spills from their mouths. And you just kind of let things happen. Not everybody, but you know what I'm saying. Just let things happen because you're nervous. You have anxiety. You're in this meeting with all these people. You feel like you're not getting anywhere. You're frustrated. Do you know I didn't even introduce myself today? So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods. I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, right here on the group and right here on the page. And I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. Okay, done with that. Posted 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Posted 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Okay, if you're catching the replay, welcome. Enjoy. All right, now that that's done. So I want you guys to practice. You know, I used to practice in the mirror. That was great, though. All right, I would look in the mirror. I'm serious. I'm not kidding at all. I seriously did this, I swear. Is before the meetings, I talk to myself. I'm crazy like that. And I would talk to myself because I would get myself all worked up because I knew about the child. I had the data. I would talk to myself. I'd play that role to myself in the mirror. And what it did is it helped get it in my brain. All right. Because I was talking to myself in the mirror. I was like, you know, I even had the like gestures and getting that. You guys don't, I should have recorded it. And I would practice in the mirror. Not that I was practicing what to say, but I was practicing getting it into my brain. All right. And knowing what it is I needed to say so that it came out a little bit more fluently. Because I did used to be, believe it or not, very, very, very nervous in the IEP meeting, very intimidated in the IEP meeting. And that's typically not my personality, but it is what happened, you know? And so it's very important. Hi, Christine, how are you? You're so welcome. So everybody say hello to Christine. She is new. Where are you from, Christine? So that's really important. I want you guys to remember that because I don't want you to back down. All right? It's just important. All right? How wonderful. I was just talking about California. So be mindful. Okay? Okay. Another thing that drives me crazy in the IEP is I just argue till they're ready to go home and give in. Yep. That's right. And you just push and push and push until you can push no more. And if, you know, things don't go right the first IEP meeting, you go to the second. But there does come a time, okay, where you need some help. And you just need to, because sometimes we don't have time to do that next IEP and that next IEP and that next IEP. Sometimes we need to get the IEP together, get that help, and then learn as we go all that IEPs together, right? So that's really important. All right, like I'm teaching Erin, but I'm doing her child's IEP because we need to get it together right now. And then she's learning as we go and tons every day, you know? So I'm teaching her to do what I do out there in California. But she's learning every day, you know? And so that is very, very important is, you know, knowing when you need help, getting that child what they need, and then learning along the way. I learn from watching. And so I believe in that very much. You know, as I work with clients, they learn while they see me work. And while you can't teach somebody to be you, they can be them with knowing the process, knowing the laws and all the intricacies, and know what gets things done. All right. The biggest fight that you will fight, well, I would say there's two: one-on-ones, one-to-one instruction, okay, maybe three, and reading intervention. Reading intervention, one-to-one instruction, a one-on-one for like safety, behavior, and redirection. Those are your three most difficult. Everything else will come. All right? But if your child needs, because they have behaviors, all right, and this drives me crazy, if a child has noted behaviors and you're not doing an FBA and getting a BIP together, we got problems. All right? I'm dealing with that in an IEP tomorrow. We got problems. Because it is their job to make recommendations. The mediation that I was in on Friday, that IEP team never made recommendations based off their own evaluations. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Okay? If evaluations are done, and after you review those evaluations, you have to get back to the table. You're creating the IEP, and they have to make recommendations based off the data that they just got. And a lot of times they don't, and they want to repeat what's there. Or they'll just make up goals, and I'll look at them, once I get them, and they have nothing to do with the evaluation deficits and areas of need. That drives me crazy. I want IEP teams to wake up, school-based. And we shouldn't say that, school-based teams and parents, because it's one team. But it never feels that way. Never. And that sucks. It should feel that way. But I don't know many people that are advocates and advocate for their children. And especially when they start asking a lot of questions because they're learning more. Oh, dear goodness gracious. Boy, they're going to, all of a sudden, if you guys are friends and getting along great, that's going to end real quick. Just ask those questions. See what happens. I mean, I've talked to parents before where they're like, we got along great. Everything was good. I didn't have to worry about anything. The teacher always talked to me, and a lot of times the teachers are actually fine until they the administration gets a hold of them, and then all hell breaks loose. And so they're like, I have a really good team. I just need to get my child's IEP together. So the minute they say that, that's a red flag to me. All right, and I'll tell you why. Because there is no amazing IEP team. I'm not saying it's not good. It can't be good. I can't say that, it's not workable and that sort of thing. But there's no awesome IEP team. Oh, they're so great, blah, 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 blah. The minute somebody says that to me, the minute I know that your IEP sucks. Okay? Because it's just not like that. It's not. I've worked with way too many people. And if for some reason you believe that you have an awesome IEP team and everything's great, please post what it is that you do so that even I can learn from you. And I'm being dead serious because I don't know everything. And if there's somebody out there that has an amazing team and they all get along and everything's great, or even everything's good and you work with each other and your IEP has to be on point. So if you're going to come at me and you're like, oh, we get along great, we work together, we talk about things, the teacher's great. If you're going to come at me with that, and I highly doubt you're going to post here, but you should, here on the group and here on the page. I dare you. I challenge you. Post below. There's people out there that say, oh yeah, we get along great. Come on, come forward. We get along great. And they're so nice. And I think they really care about my child. And, I'm actually really pleased with the team. We're working together. If you feel that way, send me your IEP. The first 5 people, I will look over your IEP for free. Because if you think, I want to know your story, all right? So send it to me with an email that tells me your story, and I will look at your IEP for free. Because I will guarantee you that if you're thinking that your IEP team is so great and they're so nice and they sincerely care about your child, which they may care about your child, I'm not saying that part, but they're doing the right thing, and he or she is getting the right services, accommodations, modifications based on their disability and the impact of their disability, not their disability category. I will look at the first 5 IEPs and stories that come my way. I used to think that way before, then I woke up and something happened and out they were full of blah. So I'm being serious. Do not be embarrassed by that. I want to look at your IEP. All right? And I don't look at IEPs for free. And, I'd probably have to get a hold of at least a piece of data. So, I want to look. I want your story, though. So send me an email with your story of how amazing things are with that IEP. Tell me about your child. I'll post the list. I'll have Aaron post the list of the information I need from you. And I want you to email me. And if everything is status quo, then I will be pretty amazed. I will say I will be very shocked. Pleasantly shocked. Pleasantly shocked. So, summing this up, it makes me crazy, okay, because that's what this is about today, right? What makes me crazy, the things that make me crazy in IEPs. But it's more about, not just what makes me crazy, all right, but more about the things that they should know, all right, that they are not saying, that they are saying things different, and you're like, because you know the law, and you're saying, what? Something's not making sense. All of those things are just red flags. So let's go through this. Watch the body language. Watch the body language. If you're asking questions and you're that mom, that dad, that grandmother, that caregiver, and you're saying, hey, this is what my child needs. This is what, an evaluation says. This is what the data says that you sent me. This is what's in the IEP. All right. And you start asking questions. All right. And they're getting flustered because you're bombarding them, so to speak, with questions. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Belinda. That gets a person they get uptight. They get nervous and caught off guard. And the more questions you shoot out at the same time, it catches people up. It really, truly does. And that's the unfortunate part, is that we have to do certain things. But most people are not on their toes like that. And if you're not being honest, you're definitely not going to be on your toes. All right. If someone told you what to say, you're going to be caught up in, what the hell do I say when this person's coming at me 24/7, at a fast pace of 80 miles an hour. And in the IEP meeting. That's why it's good to hire an advocate or even consult an attorney in getting your child's IEP on point. I tell people all the time, I don't care what advocate you hire. Well, I do, but it's not my decision. So, and what I mean by that is I want you to have a good advocate. So maybe I'll bring Yana on sometime because she has that experience with having two other advocates, right, Yana? She's on my page right now. So if you guys over here on the group have not joined the page, it's put in the search Autism Mama Rocks IEP group and join the group, okay, for those of you here on the page. But yeah, she'd be a good person to bring on live with me to tell her story, where she had 2 or 3 other advocates and the story behind that, because you need to know that your advocate's got your back. If your advocate doesn't talk in the IEP meeting, something's wrong, okay? If your advocate doesn't know how to take charge and make sure that everything about the IEP, the law is adhered to, meaning idea, okay, not law that you're practicing law as an advocate, but just law as in, idea, the state law, and know it so well that when they say bullshit, you catch it. And it's important to know that. And so getting your IEP on point, I cannot tell you how important it is. I am creating a new course. It is going to piggyback from my big course, Rock the IEP, which has everything, including my PPPN system, the plan, prepare, present, and persuade, and negotiate only if you have to. It's registered and trademarked. It's very successful. But at times you need someone to just hold your hand and get those goals and services and everything in play. And then you're able to keep it up, and okay, don't sign this IEP because Raven will kill me until she looks at it. Because you always need a second eye, always. Even if you don't have an advocate, always do you need a second eye on that IEP. And don't be too confident in yourself. I always asked for someone else to read it. All right. Not that they knew 100% about IEPs or anything like that. They actually didn't. But I asked them, look in here and show me things that you may question. Okay. They need to be someone that knows your child, obviously, that has special needs. But you need to have someone else look at the document. And sometimes it's good if they don't know about the IEPs and they read it and they're like, what does this mean? And funny enough, I get a lot of when I've had people read IEPs for me is why do they keep talking about how awesome and cute and sweet your kid is? That's another thing that drives me crazy. A lot of schools will want to bombard you with all the positives and strengths about your child. It is something that is typically brought up first before the areas of need in the IEP. Start paying attention to that. That is a technique. All right. So just like I said, body language is key. If you know how to read body language, that's killer. And I'm telling you, it goes with the IEP, it goes with talking to people, it goes with everything, because then you know how to react, all right? So I know that if I'm being too hard on somebody, that I need to back off a little bit, that I'm a bold, outspoken person, that if somebody's body language is kind of withdrawing, then I need to get my shit together because that's on me, and I need to speak in a different way so that they engage. All right. And so each and every person has to be spoken to in a different way because everybody's different. If someone crazy bold comes at me with full force, knowing or just knowing myself being that same way, it will rub me wrong. It will immediately rub me wrong. Go figure. Um, but that's just, it's a personality thing. It's weird how it works like that. But, it's kind of like, it's opposites attract. That is very true, you know? So it's interesting how that dynamic works. It kind of sounds crazy. You guys might think I'm crazy when it comes to that, but knowing certain things like that, knowing how to read body language, having that inner gut feeling, intuition, if you will, is very important in an IEP meeting. You would think that, okay, I got to have the data. I got to be, I got to have my PhD in Google. I got to have, the data. I got to know what I'm doing. I got to know the laws. There's so much that you got to learn. Learn the body language, learn the personality piece, learn how to catch somebody off guard so the truth finally comes out. And if you're online, because I always tell my clients, go online, don't be intimidated. There is a positive about being in person, and that's being able to see them, because they're not texting each other, they're not looking at each other saying shh, don't say, because they do. I've been in IEP meetings, a lot of them recently, and they're looking. Like, I'll ask a question and I'll say whatever, and then they'll look, da 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 da, they'll look, da 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 da, they'll look. And so finally, after a couple times, I'll say, can you please tell the person that is talking next to you to be quiet? Or they need to come forward and be on screen so that we can see them, because that is required in an IEP for parents to see each and every person. They can't just, once you see them and then they want to turn their screen off, they can, but you can request they turn it back on. Okay, because by law, you have to, it's face to face. A lot of them want to turn their screen off, and I'll say, no, 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 no. All right. So there's ones that I don't care. It's whatever, but certain ones, no, you're going to have your screen on nice and bright. And if they don't want to, I'll tell them to excuse themselves from the meeting. Leave. If you don't want to be on and you don't want to participate so that I can talk to you face to face, get out of the meeting. Leave. And I sure as heck say that. If you're not going to fully be here and be present and treat this child as if they're gold right now for the next couple hours and are focused on their needs, then get out. And you have every right as an IEP team member to say that. Now, doesn't mean they're necessarily going to get out? No. But does it mean more than likely they're going to turn their screen on? Oh, yeah. Because they're recording, you're recording, and they don't want that on record. That the parent asked for them to turn their screen on and they refused. They don't want that. And another thing that will drive me crazy about parents is when you know something's wrong and you don't say something. And if you do say something and nothing happens, that doesn't mean you give up. That doesn't mean you say, oh, I don't know what else to do. It is what it is. Hopefully the IEP is good. Don't do that. All right? If that happens, no, it's not good. Know that something's not right. Okay? Because your IEP team would be talking to you. They would be having a conversation with you. They would be engaging with you. They would not mind your questions. They would encourage them. They would send home daily communication sheets. There would be that fluid communication if they were not hiding something. And I'm going to end with this, and then we're going to talk again tomorrow. And I like to paint these pictures in your head If you're anything like me, shut your eyes when I say this. I like to shut my eyes and picture something, and it helps a lot. Okay? Get comfortable being uncomfortable and get comfortable doing things that are going to help you learn more. Okay? So if you want to shut your eyes, all right, and picture this. Okay? So shut your eyes, picture this. All right? And say to yourself, if you've ever been in a special needs classroom, all right, if you haven't, you're not going to be able to picture this. All right, so shut your eyes, picture that special needs classroom. Autism classroom, self-contained classroom. All right, shut your eyes. There's a point to this. And picture a lot of the chaos that goes on. There's small kids with big kids. There's behavior problems. There's academic problems. There's kids that are nonverbal. You got a mix of a lot. All right, so that pot is stirring. All right, you got big, small, quiet, loud. You got it all. All right. Behavior issues. I mean, you name it, it's all there. Right? And then what you need to look at, all right, is you need to look at how you would teach in that situation. What is it, ask yourself this, that you would do, all right, in order, sorry guys, to educate a child and cover all of their goals and hopefully meet them by the end of the year. Each and every child that's in that classroom. Along with dealing with, here, I'm going to move this again. Along with dealing with, all right, sorry, I was turning my computer down. Along with dealing with kids coming in and out, because they go into the gen ed, right? Then you have kids that are, that need to be taken out because they need to walk around, sensory issues going on, whatever the case is, right? So you have that going on. Then we have, we have so much stuff going on. And, then you have teams or a teacher and a para and whatever going on. And on the group, all you see is my boobs. Goodness gracious. Because I'm sitting down and all you see, boom. Sorry about that, guys. So it's important to picture that. Picture what it is that you personally could do in a classroom with, let's just say, 8 kids, 6, 7, 8 kids, and all different types of behaviors, all different types of needs. How are you going to meet their needs? How are you going to do each and every one of their goals? Because it has to be taught by a teacher. How is your child being taught? Who's teaching them? And how is it possible? Tell me, how is it possible for a special education teacher to individually teach 6, 7, 8, 10 children all of their separate goals? How? Have you ever thought about that? How is that special education teacher teaching them those goals? Because they got to teach it. They can't just be taught goals by a para. It doesn't work like that. The para supports the teacher after it's taught. So it's very important to picture situations. How is this possible? And then that's going to create questions. How are you teaching my children? What is going on in the room when you're teaching my child? What does it look like? What does the para do? How does the para support my child? The para is not teaching my child, right? The para is just supporting what you do, right? Make sure they say yes. Then once they say yes, say, okay, so what does the para do? Can you explain to me what that looks like? Find out everything. Everything. All right? I'm guessing what Arnold Schwarzenegger did in Kindergarten Cop is the wrong stupid. So that's what you got to look at, is paint the picture. Tell them, I say that a lot in IEP meetings, can you paint that picture for me? That's a good IEP t-shirt idea. Write that down. Can you paint that IEP picture for me? Can you paint that picture for me? Your child goes here and this is what they do and blah, blah, blah. Oh, can you paint that picture for me so I can understand, like, so I can picture what it looks like? Thanks, Erin. Do that. Ask those questions. Get help when you need it. Get that IEP together first. Learn second. Okay? Because your child shouldn't be losing out on what is needed and appropriate because mom and dad are learning. Get help and get that IEP together. Learn from, hopefully, whoever you got the help from, and learn as you go. Because the more you practice and see what's going on, the more you're going to learn. All right? It's great to look at Google. It's great to look things up. You definitely need to know the laws, but you need to know how the laws are applied, not the code, not the, oh, it says in the law that the IEP team is supposed to give me all the evaluations and any data that they're going to discuss in the IEP meeting in advance of the IEP meeting, prior to, all right? Not at the IEP meeting, not talk about something they didn't give you copies of, not talk about something that they didn't give you data from, all right? You need to receive that information before the IEP meeting, all right? And in some states, it's like 24 hours. In some states, it doesn't say anything, which those states suck, by the way. It needs to change. And, in some states, it's 3 days, some states 5 days. Find out what your state says, all right? But bottom line, it should be within a reasonable time frame. And it does say that. The law, okay? And it should be in a time frame in which you have time to review that information in order to participate as an equal team member. If not, it is a violation if they gave it to you last minute or you did not have the time to review it. I've had IEP teams give stuff at 11 o'clock at night for a meeting that started first thing. I've had IEP team staff send stuff at 8, 9 o'clock and the meeting started at 10. I've had IEP team staff send stuff at 8:45 for a 9 a.m. meeting. Not okay. And immediately, right before that meeting, I sent an email and say, you just provided me XYZ documents before an IEP meeting, giving me only 15 minutes to read it. You are refusing my right to participate as an equal team member. And leave it at that. What they're actually supposed to do is say, oh, well, we can cancel the meeting and reschedule so that you can read it. And then it's on them because they were jerks and didn't give you the information. And then your child's needs aren't being met because they failed to provide you the information in a reasonable amount of time. These are important things. You have to be mindful of them, and understanding how they're going to come at you is super important, understanding that, or I guess is it, I don't know where I'm at. Is this the page? Is this the group? I don't freaking know. But it's just important to understand where your how do I say it? Where your team is going, and are you on that same train? And if you're not, you need to figure out where their train is going versus yours. And if you don't, what page? That's right, Aaron. Where'd you get that comment from? Just curious. Just curious. What she said, for those of you who aren't reading it, is she said, answer a question with a question. So she responded and said, you silly, in your course. Never just make a statement. Raven is where she got that. So I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great evening. It's late. I'm tired. I'm so exhausted. But I want you guys to be mindful of these things. I hope this taught you something. I know I can go on and on about this stuff, but I want you to understand stuff outside of, okay, you got to know this law, this law, this law, this law, this law, this law, and this law. It's like, you just need to know the beginning stuff, and you're going to grow. You're going to learn it. But please, 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 especially this year, please, please, no, especially every year, get your child's IEP first. Learn second. Learn as you go, I should say. All right? So thanks for joining. I have no idea if you're the page or you're the group or you're the group or you're the page. I have no idea tonight. Technical difficulty. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that we learn something and we move forward and we get those IEPs straight and we get them on point and that the present levels are crystal clear. That needs to be the perfection. And then everything else follows. That's my new course, Present Levels and Goals. So you're going to learn how to write present levels, what goes in present levels, how to write the goals, how data is taken, and how your child can succeed. So that is what's going to go. You're welcome, Pam. You're so welcome. So have a great evening. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye-bye.